On this edition of Early Look, I'm previewing the main event lightweight fight coming up September 23rd between Mateusz Gamrot and Rafael Fiziev as part of UFC Fight Night. Fiziev versus Gamrot. If you've never watched a show before, I'm going to go through a bunch of different stats, a bunch of different intangibles, and then I'm going to give you my pick at the end. Some of this stuff may have relevance, it may not. I'll let you decide that, but I will give you my full analysis on this, and then, like I said, we can talk about it after the fact in the comments section. Let's do a quick tail of the tape between these two. Rafael Fiziev, as you can see, 12-2. Mateusz Gamrot, 22-2, 30 years old to 32. 5'8" to 5'10", 71.5 to 70.5. Really even fight. We'll talk about the odds later as well. And bummer this is taking place at the Apex, right? This should be in an arena. This is an amazing fight. Great fight in the division between two guys ranked pretty close together here. But let's start with Fiziev first, and we'll get to Gamrot after. So you can see their 12-2 record for Fiziev. And you can see he has a 8 knockouts, 1 submission, and 3 decisions. This is a 5-round fight, by the way, because it's the main event. He's the number 6 ranked lightweight. He's a BJJ blue belt and trains at a Killcliff FC and Tiger Muay Thai. Fiziev's got fight of the night 3 times against Mark Diakiese, Bobby Green, and Justin Gaethje. He's got performance of the night 3 times against Renato Moicano, Brad Riddell, and Rafael dos Anjos. Fiziev did not have an amateur debut. He went straight to the pros way back in July of 2015. Had an extensive Muay Thai career, though, as early as May of 2010. Went 29-4 in Muay Thai, and then made his actual debut, like I mentioned, in July of 2015. Did not make his UFC debut until April of 2019, a fight that he ended up losing in the first round. We'll talk about that fight in a sec. He is 7-2 in the UFC. He has 3 stoppage victories. Some notable wins in the division include Renato Moicano, Bobby Green, Rafael dos Anjos. And some of his key losses were Magomed Mustafayev and Justin Gaethje. The Mustafayev fight, that was, I don't want to call it a fluke, but I'm pretty sure if these two fought again, Fiziev would get the win there. It's just a bad night for him because, ever since then, he's looked outstanding. And the Gaethje fight, lost a majority decision there. I don't think there's any question that Gaethje won that matchup, but do want to point out that I thought Fiziev won that first round, and then Gaethje took over rounds 2 and rounds 3. And a bit of a shocker. If you guys remember, I picked Fiziev in that fight. I think Fiziev was the betting favorite. I think a lot of us underestimated Justin Gaethje in that spot. And honestly, seeing what Gaethje did in the fight after with Dustin Poirier, he looks like he's really turned a corner here. So I don't necessarily think that's a bad loss to have on the resume, but it certainly was surprising because I think a lot of people felt like Fiziev was going to get that done with his striking, and it was Gaethje who ended up getting it done. Fiziev has not had a lot of layoffs in his career. Going from Moicano to Bobby Green, there was a 238-day layoff. And then going from RDA right here to Gaethje was a 252-day layoff. He's actually going to be fighting in back-to-back fights for the first time since 2020. 2021 he fought 2 fights. So 2 fights this year for him, which is always very good. He's had a couple injuries in his career. Just want to point out, I think people forget he was supposed to fight on Dana White's Contender Series against Joey Gomez, which I guess we can count as a withdrawal there. And then he was supposed to fight Alex Da Silva and had an injury there that had to force him out of the fight. The Dos Anjos fights were rescheduled. There was a positive COVID test, but kind of what I'm getting at here is Fiziev's a pretty healthy fighter. You don't see him out of action too long. Let's go over some UFC stats for Fiziev. Very impressive. Look at these strikes landed per minute, 5.06, so very high output there. Striking accuracy, 51%, so over half he's getting his strikes done. Striking defense is at 48%, so he does get hit a little bit. His takedown defense is at 90%, which I think is actually kind of key here because we know Gamrot likes going for those takedowns. His takedown accuracy is 40%, and his takedown average is 0.31. He keeps it standing most of the fights. He's not looking to go up there and wrestle you. Obviously, coming from that Muay Thai background, Fiziev probably not going to look for a takedown in this fight. But yeah, that's pretty much everything you need to know about Rafael Fiziev. Like I mentioned, number 6 ranked lightweight, and looking to get in that contender spot with a win here against Mateusz Gamrot. Let's talk about Gamrot. That's his nickname. I didn't make it up. He did. You can see there, Gamrot is 22-2. He's got 7 knockouts, 5 submissions, and 10 decisions. He is 32 years old. He is 5'10" with a 70.5-inch reach. So he'll be 2 inches taller in this fight. And I might have forgot to mention this as far as Fiziev. He's 2 years younger with a 1.5-inch reach. So those are the advantages for each guy. Fiziev, a little bit younger with a bit of a reach. Gamrot, a little bit taller. But that's about it in terms of, on paper. As far as Gamrot's career, he is Like I said, number 7th ranked UFC lightweight. He is a BJJ black belt. He's a former KSW lightweight and featherweight champion. He's got performance of the night 2 times against Scott Holtzman and Jeremy Stevens. He's got fight of the night 2 times against Guram and Arman Saryukin. He's got the fastest submission by Kimura in UFC history at 65 seconds when he took out Jeremy Stevens a couple years ago. Like Gamrot, or like Fiziev, I should say, he did not have an amateur debut, went straight to the pros in February of 2012, did not make his UFC debut until October of 2020. But you got to remember, he's fighting in a pretty good promotion over there in KSW, one of the best international promotions. He probably could have been in the UFC sooner, but was collecting belts over there in KSW, which again, very high on that promotion. His UFC record is 5-2. He's got 3 stoppage victories. Some notable wins include Jeremy Stevens. I don't think Stevens was ranked at the time, but obviously a notable guy in the weight class. Diego Ferreira was ranked, I believe. Arman Saryukin, very good win. We'll talk about that fight because that was a close one. And then Jalen Turner, also ranked, good win there. And just the 2 losses to Guram and to Beneil Dariush. Hasn't had any major layoffs, hasn't had any major injuries. I referenced some of those fights there. Let's talk about the Guram fight way back in October of 2020, which was Gamrot's UFC debut. 14 media members scored the fight for Guram, only 3 scoring it for Gamrot. So a bit of an off night there for Gamrot, and kind of weird where their careers went, right? Guram having trouble getting fights, losing a couple key fights, and now he's not in the UFC anymore, whereas Gamrot obviously doing quite well. And then we have the loss against Beneil Dariush as well. Or sorry, the win over Arman Saryukin. Let's talk about that first. That was June of 2022. 7 media members scored the fight for Gamrot, 15 scored it for Arman. I remember watching that fight live thinking Arman won. Believe that should have gone the other way, but you know what? All the power to him. Even going that long with Arman Saryukin's quite the feat itself. And then the Jalen Turner fight. I was actually at this fight in March, UFC 285. That was the John Jones and Cyril Gahn card. Went back and looked at the scorecards for that one. 23 media members scoring the fight for Gamrot, just 3 for Turner. I hear people talking about it being a robbery. I thought it was close. I don't think it was a robbery. I think Gamrot won. I'm on the side here. I didn't feel like Turner did enough to win, but it was also a close fight as well. And credit to Gamrot for edging that one out after coming off that loss to Dariush. Which, if you remember in the Dariush fight, he won the first round, lost the next 2, and Dariush just basically took over after that. And Gamrot didn't have many answers for that one. Let's look at the UFC stats here for Gamrot. You can see there, Gamrot's significant strikes landed per minute, 3.03, so less than Fiziev. He's got a striking accuracy of 51%. Striking defense is at 60%, so doesn't get hit that much. That'll be interesting to see if Fiziev can actually get some shots on there. Takedown average is 4.54. Don't think we're going to see a lot of takedowns. Well, maybe we will, but he's fighting a guy in Fiziev who's got 90% takedown accuracy. His accuracy in the takedowns is 31%, so he's getting a lot of takedowns. He's just not hitting them a lot. And then his takedown defense is 90%. But like I said, I don't think Fiziev will be going to the ground on this one. And yeah, that's everything you need to know about Gamrot going into this fight. Let's look at the odds. You can see right now, slight edge to Fiziev on the scorecards. We just have DraftKings up right now in terms of the odds. Fiziev, you can see there, -162. The comeback on Gamrot, +136. And if we head over to Tapology, you can see the fan voting here, 62% for Fiziev, 38% for Gamrot. So who am I going with in this fight? It's tough, honestly. Like, I could absolutely see this going either way. I'm going Fiziev. I tend to think he might have underestimated Gaethje a little bit in his last fight. And I think in this fight, Fiziev knows he's got to get it done. He's got to go out there, make it happen. And, the fact he's a little bit younger here, the fact that I think it will stay on the feet. I don't know if Gamrot will get many takedowns in this fight. I think if you're talking who's the better striker, it's Fiziev, 100%. We saw Gamrot, have a little bit of trouble with Jalen Turner striking. I think Fiziev's a much better striker than him. Gamrot's never been finished in 25 fights. That's something we should point out. So I don't know if Fiziev, it is a 5-round fight. I suppose a finish could happen. But even if you look at Fiziev's, I think last finish was against Rafa dos Anjos is a 5th-round finish, right? I think that was his last one. Yeah, it was a 5th-round finish. So, probably likely this does go to the scorecard. So again, I go Fiziev decision there. Fiziev's only been KO'd once. He's never been submitted. Like I said, the KO loss he had against Mustafayev, I think, that was kind of a one-off fight. And Justin Gaethje couldn't knock him out either. That's something we should point out. However, that was a 3-round fight. This is 5, so a little bit different. 45% of Gamrot's wins have been by decision. So again, kind of lining up with the decision thing I'm talking about there. 32% have been by KO, TKO, and 23 by submission. So I don't think Gamrot will finish Fiziev. Fiziev's been pretty durable throughout his UFC career. Both have 5-round experience. So again, we could see this going a little bit longer. And like I said there, I think Fiziev is just the better striker, and I think he keeps us upright and he gets it done. Maybe Gamrot surprises us. Maybe he gets some takedowns. We'll see. But for what we have right now in a fight this close, I got to go Fiziev by decision. I think he gets it done. Now, there's a possibility of maybe a later finish, like what Fiziev did against Rafael dos Anjos, but I think the safe bet here is Fiziev decision, or even the fight goes the distance. Maybe we get another fight like the Arman Tsarukyan fight, where it could have gone either way, you know? So maybe if you're going to bet this, maybe that's the play you make, because I bet a lot of people will bet inside the distance, just knowing how much these two are action fighters. But you got to remember, they're both high level too. They're not easy to finish. So I'm going to go Rafael Fiziev via decision in a very close fight. I do see him just slightly edging it out. But like I said, guys, I would not be shocked if Gamrot pulls this off either. But I do see, but I think if Gamrot does it, it'll be a decision as well. I don't think we'll see a stoppage in this fight. So I want to know what you guys think in the comment section below. Who do you think is going to get it done in this fight? Who are you picking? Let me know. Follow me on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. Keep saying Twitter. It's X, whatever. You know what I mean. Follow me on all those platforms, at Lynch on Sports. Same thing with Threads. And let me know any other fights you want me to preview. I will be doing Dan Ige and Bryce Mitchell. That's also on this card. I'll be doing that soon too. But this was a fight we had to preview. Great matchup. Really looking forward to this one. And like I said, this should be in an arena, not the Apex. That's another thing I should point out just quickly as we're wrapping things up here. Smaller cage, more likely to have a knockout. I could see that potentially happening here. But again, you're fighting a guy in Gamrot who's never been finished. I just don't think that's going to happen here in this particular fight. So yeah, going Fiziev decision. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, who you're picking. Let's have a fun debate about this, and I'll talk to you guys soon.